Welcome, sophisticated viewers and global enthusiasts of the Turkish cinematic arts, to another deep dive exploration here at News Around. You have arrived at the definitive destination for narratives that transcend the superficiality of typical headlines, seeking instead the pulse of genuine human experience beneath the glitz of fame. Today, we are not merely reporting on a celebrity incident, we are dissecting a moment of profound emotional alchemy. A moment where the ironclad discipline of a superstar met the undeniable gravitational pull of an unfinished love story. Before we journey into the heart of this unfolding saga, we invite you to anchor yourself within our community. Please subscribe to News Around, click the notification bell to ensure you never miss our detailed dossiers, and if you appreciate the literary depth we bring to these reports, consider clicking the join button. By becoming a member, you directly support the high-caliber research and storytelling that defines our channel. Also, remember to like this video and share your insights in the comments section. Now, let us explore the day the world stood still for Barış Baktaş and Yagma Yüksel. The atmosphere within the television studio was initially characterized by a deceptive, almost mundane tranquility. Barış Baktaş, a man whose public persona is constructed upon the pillars of stoic composure and an almost monastic professional discipline, sat within the frame of a live broadcast with his usual architectural grace. For years, the industry has recognized him as a master of the unsaid, an actor who wields silence with the precision of a surgeon. His presence on that particular afternoon was intended to be a routine exercise in professional engagement. Polished, measured, and safely insulated by the conventional barriers of celebrity banter. The host, navigating the predictable waters of fan-centric questions and career updates, maintained a light and airy rhythm. The digital chat stream flickered with the usual accolades, hearts, emojis, and fleeting compliments, creating a digital white noise that suggested nothing out of the ordinary would transpire. No one in that room, nor the hundreds of thousands watching through their screens, could have predicted that the afternoon's equilibrium was about to be shattered by a single, 10-word inquiry that acted as a key to a long-locked door. Hidden within the deluge of generic fan interactions, a solitary question emerged, carrying with it the weight of an entire fandom's collective yearning. The host, perhaps operating on the autopilot of a seasoned presenter, read the words aloud with a casualness that would soon feel like a transgression. Barış, if you were granted the opportunity to choose once more, would your heart still find its way to Yagma? In an instant, the oxygen seemed to evaporate from the studio. It was not a moment of mere awkwardness or the typical hesitation of a celebrity navigating a PR minefield. It was something far more visceral. A localized atmospheric shift where the very fabric of time seemed to stretch and thin. A profound silence descended upon Barış Baktaş. One heartbeat passed, then another, followed by a third that resonated with the intensity of an eternal pause. He did not immediately reach for a rehearsed deflection. Instead, his gaze descended to an invisible point on the floor, his hands rising to his face in a fleeting, desperate attempt to stabilize the tremors of an internal earthquake that was clearly reaching the surface. As we witness these high-stakes moments of vulnerability, we want to hear your perspective. In a world of carefully managed public relations, how much do you value seeing the real, unpolished emotions of your favorite stars? Does Barış Baktaş's openness change how you view his past projects? Let us know in the comments below. And a reminder to our newer viewers, if you want to support independent, in-depth reporting like this, please hit that join button to help News Around keep bringing you these exclusive deep dives. When Barış finally looked back into the lens, the professional veneer had been utterly discarded. His eyes, usually characterized by a piercing, controlled intensity, were now luminous with an unguarded gloss that spoke of a sorrow both ancient and immediate. His voice, initially stumbling over the debris of his own composure before finding a heavy, resonant steadying, delivered a confession that would instantly detonate across the digital landscape. He spoke not of a past colleague, but of a soul whose essence was inextricably woven into his own. He suggested that certain names do not simply fade into the archives of one's history, rather, they are stitched beneath the skin, residing in the marrow of one's identity rather than merely being etched upon the surface. The internet, acting as a global nervous system, reacted with instantaneous fervor. Fans noted that this was not the language of nostalgia or a polite nod to a successful partnership. This was present-tense love. A living, pulsing, and perhaps agonizing affection that had survived the conclusion of their shared professional contracts. The studio's temperature had irrevocably shifted. The host, sensing the weight of the moment and perhaps fearing the raw vulnerability of her guest, attempted to pivot towards safer, more superficial topics. However, Boris, with a quiet but immovable gravity, lifted a hand to pause the rescue attempt. Wiping a solitary, defiant tear that refused to be commanded back into concealment, he murmured that some truths are too insistent to be contained within the sterile boundaries of a press release. He acknowledged that while life had provided him with many lessons through various voices, Yagma's influence was among the most profound and enduring. To understand the magnitude of this moment, one must revisit the unique chemistry that defined the collaboration between Barış Baktaş and Yagma Yüksel. They were never merely co-stars inhabiting a script, they were the architects of a shared sanctuary that resonated with millions. Their on-screen connection transcended dialogue, it was a narrative written in the shorthand of stolen glances, the subtle geometry of their bodies in space, and a level of trust that felt entirely unmanufactured. While they never offered the public a neatly packaged statement regarding the nature of their relationship, the reality was visible in the margins. It was found in the unguarded smiles captured after the cameras stopped rolling and the brief, electric contact of hands that occurred when they believed the world was looking elsewhere. They created a story that the public didn't need official confirmation to believe in, and Boris's recent breakdown felt like the final, definitive piece of a puzzle that fans had been assembling for years. Before we analyze Yagma Yüksel's enigmatic response, we want to take a moment to express our gratitude for your continued engagement. News Around is more than just a channel, it is a community of thinkers and enthusiasts. If you believe in the importance of high-quality, long-form content, please consider supporting us through the Join button. Your membership allows us to dive deeper into these cultural moments. And don't forget to like this video, it helps the YouTube algorithm show our work to other fans of the Turkish starsphere. The aftermath of the broadcast was as haunting as the confession itself. Barış Baktaş exited the studio with a resolute silence, moving past the gathered press like a man who had already emptied his reservoir of words. However, in the quiet hours of the following night, that fragile time when insomnia often invites the return of suppressed regrets, a single photograph appeared on his official profile. The image was one of melancholic beauty. A brittle, aged leaf making its final contact with the surface of a still lake, with ripples expanding outward until they eventually surrendered their origin. The caption read like a fragment of a lost poem, speaking of circles that return to the shore and others that remain in the depths to become memory. There were no tags, no explicit mentions, and yet the soft ache of the post was unmistakable. To some, it was a final, poetic farewell. The image of a beautiful thing surrendering to the inevitable current of time. To others, it was a subtle, daring promise, a way of announcing that he was finally brave enough to face the ripples of his own heart, regardless of where they might lead. As the digital world turned its collective gaze toward Yagma Yüksel, the air was thick with a reckless hope. Her response, when it arrived, was a masterclass in elegance and ambiguity. Choosing not to engage with the thousands of direct inquiries flooding her comments, she posted a single, minimalist story. Against a plain background, a solitary line appeared, "What is true inside does not need a megaphone." This sentence acted as a Rorschach test for the fandom. Was it a confirmation that their bond existed in a sacred, internal space that required no public validation? Or was it a gentle, firm closing of a book, suggesting that the truth of their past was best left in silence? The beauty of her response lay in its refusal to be a yes or a no. It was a whisper that acknowledged the fire without necessarily fanning the flames. In the world of high-profile romance, such ambiguity is often the only form of honesty available. As we conclude this exploration, we are left with the realization that love, in its most genuine form, rarely follows the neat trajectories of a television script. The vulnerability displayed by Barış Baktaş serves as a rare and beautiful miracle in an era of filters and managed personas. It reminds us that fame does not offer an immunity to the complexities of the heart, it only provides a larger stage upon which to bleed. Whether this leads to a joint interview, as rumors from certain network insiders suggest, or whether it remains a quiet shadow that lengthens at dusk, the impact of these words is undeniable. They have reminded a global audience that some connections are resistant to the passage of time and the conclusion of contracts. Thank you for joining us for this profound journey here at News Around. We value your presence and your intellectual curiosity. Before you go, please ensure you have subscribed, liked the video, and considered the join button to support our future reports. Which celebrity story should we uncover next? Who would you like to see in a joint interview on our channel? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, keep looking for the truth beneath the surface, and stay tuned to News Around.